All right, I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. We're going to cover the Synergy products for athletic performance. And before we actually get into the products, there's some things that I want to lay the groundwork with. And here are the keys to athletic performance, training, and recovery. The keys are energy production, elimination of lactic acid, working what's called aerobically, and then amino acids for rebuilding muscle. Now, there's two forms of respiration. Everyone that's on this call right now, you're doing what's called aerobic respiration, where you create energy through the use of oxygen. But there's also what's called anaerobic respiration, where you create energy when oxygen isn't present. And we're going to look at that a little bit today. I'm not here to do a exercise physiology class, but I am going to show you some resource tools that can effectively help you market in the athletic performance community, or people who are weekend warriors who want to, get a better workout, whatever it might be. So there's some resource tools that I'm going to show you that will help people understand this aspect about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. But one of the key questions, if you're talking to someone who's a weekend warrior, who's athletic, who goes to the gym, works out, even with social distancing, the gyms are beginning to open back up as long as people are wearing masks and keeping the appropriate social distancing. But here's the key question. If I could show you how to have 18 times more energy with waste products that are going to actually improve your performance and speed your recovery, would you be interested in learning how? And for most athletes, if you could help them do that, or I don't know what's going to happen again we live in the COVID-19 era currently, and I don't know what will happen to the weekend activities that typically go on. Like I live in the Chicagoland area, and I can guarantee that if we weren't going through COVID-19, every weekend you could find a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, some type of event, whether it be bicycle, a walk, a run. There would be some event going on every weekend, Saturday and Sunday most likely, from now to the end of fall. And those could become places that you could go and set up shop. And you could have a simple flyer, you could have a simple booth. If you decide to go down that route when those types of activities come back on board, pick what I call the low hanging fruit. There's no way that I would go and do the Chicago Marathon because my booth space would most likely be about $4,000 or $5,000. But I could most likely do a very small event in one of my local communities around me where maybe I'm paying $25 to $50 to be able to be at that event, and having this simple question, or having a simple flyer, asking this question with a URL that they could go to that would have some of these resource tools that I'm going to show you as part of the landing page that you take them to. I'm not prepared to show you stuff like that today. I just want to show you what your resource tools are. And then maybe sometime in June when things get relaxed, maybe we can put a presentation together to show you what I call your sales funnel would look like if you decide to go down this route. Or if you go other routes, what a sales funnel looks like in terms of moving people through. But here's the key question is, again, if I could show an athlete how they could have 18 times more energy, in fact, if I could show you how you could have 18 times more energy, you'd most likely be interested. And for an athlete, if I could show them how their waste products that they produce from their activity could actually improve their performance and speed their recovery, you think I might create some interest where people would want to learn how. And when they give you a yes, we have two really key resource tools, one created by us and another one created by Synergy Worldwide. The one that's been created by us is a non-branded video called How Nitric Oxide Therapy Addresses Athletic Performance. And the one created by Synergy Worldwide is this Cologne List flyer. And I'm going to get into both of these right now. Now, I'll give you access to this information. In fact, I've got myself in my, I usually keep a to-do list every day. And I wrote on my to-do list so that by Tuesday of next week, up on the resource page of Our Synergy Family. So if we go into, again, Our Synergy Family, so if we, again, use the URL, Our Synergy Family, and if you come onto the home page and you scroll down to this tab or this icon that says resources and you click on that, I'm going to add a section in here for athletic performance. So today's video will be there. The PDF that I'm showing you will be there. The key videos that I'm going to show you one of them today. I'm not going to actually play it, but I created a PDF of that video. And so that will be here. So I'll put the resources that I'm talking about on this page so that you can easily find it if you're deciding to go and link to it. But going back to this video, I created a PDF of the slides that are part of this video. And right in the beginning, we talk about how nitric oxide therapy can increase your athletic performance by an average of 15%. How you can consistently generate 18 times more energy, how you can substantially reduce the buildup of lactic acid, which is the limiting factor in any athlete's performance, and how you can speed your recovery from both your workouts and performance. That's what nitric oxide therapy can do from an athletic performance standpoint. And it doesn't matter, whatever the athletic activity that you are engaged in, your body will derive its energy from either anaerobic respiration, where oxygen is not present, or aerobic respiration, where oxygen is present. So what's the difference between the two? Well, when your intensity reaches a certain point, for your body to be able to create the needed energy, it has to flip over to what's called anaerobic respiration. It's got to be able to create energy when oxygen's not present. The problem with that is that it creates what's called lactic acid, which then becomes the limiting factor. So if I can help an athlete stay in aerobic respiration, then that means that I'm going to be able to help them produce more energy with waste products that actually are beneficial to their athletic performance. Now, this is not, again, I'll tell you one thing, I'm switching down here. You see this thing called the Krebs cycle? Now, my undergraduate major was biology. And this is one thing that I had to completely memorize. In fact, I had to be able to reproduce this on a test. Now, I'm not asking you to do that, but the nice thing about this video is this video begins to walk people through this process. We're not going to go through the Krebs cycle, but here's the difference between anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration. If I'm working without oxygen, my net gain of energy is 2 units. And my waste product is lactic acid. Lactic acid is what creates that burning sensation in your muscle. At some point in time, you most likely experienced that burning sensation in your muscle tissue when you were working out. And that is always the limiting factor for an athlete, whether it be in their training or their performance. In aerobic respiration, where oxygen is present, then this thing called pyruvate goes into the Krebs cycle. Instead of being changed into lactic acid, it goes into the Krebs cycle. So I get 36 units of net energy in aerobic respiration. That's 18 times more energy. 2 times 18 is 36. So when I say that I can give you 18 times more energy, if I can help you work aerobically, I'm giving you a factual statement. And the waste products of aerobic respiration are water, which hydrates your system, and carbon dioxide, which comes back to your lungs and actually changes the pH in your lungs, which allows your lungs to bind more oxygen to its hemoglobin so that you can then deliver more oxygen by the red blood cells. So water and carbon dioxide from an athletic performance standpoint are beneficial for that person. And that is the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. And the most important aspect is I don't get any lactic acid, which doesn't then compromise my athletic performance. Now, I want to come down here and show you something that was done by the High Desert Heart Institute back in 2012. They did a study. Now, their study was done on the ProArgi-9 Active. And we'll come to that as one of the products that I'm going to show you today. But in that study, they showed that there was an average increase of 15%. So the exact thing was they decreased the production of lactic acid, resulting in an average 15% increase in exercise endurance to exhaustion with a quicker post-exercise recovery back to the resting baseline. So there's documented aspects in terms of what we're sharing with people. And again, all this information is in this video. And that if you just share the video with athletes, this will make a huge amount of sense to them. Now, also in this video, I pull a couple things from Dr. Ignaro. When I was in college, and that was back in, I graduated from my undergraduate degree stuff in 1975. And then I went into exercise physiology to get my master's. At that time, Dr. Kenneth Cooper, who is the father of the aerobic revolution, was a hugely important person. But there was a missing component that when you added up the increase in heart muscle strength and all the other things that went on, something was missing in the gain in athletic performance. And it wasn't until the Nobel Prize in 1998 was awarded to Dr. Louis Ignaro and two other American researchers, and there became this big explosion of research into nitric oxide therapy. And here's a direct quote taken from Dr. Ignaro's book, page 69 from No More Heart Disease. Quote, "During exercise, the body produces nitric oxide at an elevated rate. There is really no downside to exercise, but unless you intend to be at the gym 24/7, exercise alone will not provide you with the amount of nitric oxide you need. Proper diet combined with exercise increases the production of nitric oxide at a rate greater than that of each element separately." That was the missing component. No one understood when I graduated with my degree in exercise physiology. No one understood that every time your blood pulses across the endothelium, it stimulates the enzymes of the endothelium to produce a puff of nitric oxide, which then vasodilates the system for improved blood flow, which then means that I can deliver more oxygen and nutrients to the working muscles. And if I can deliver more oxygen and nutrients, then those muscles can work at a higher aerobic capacity, produce 18 times more energy, waste products like water and carbon dioxide that improve my athletic performance and limits lactic acid production, which again is the limiting factor for all athletes, no matter whether it be training or performance. And again, all this stuff is in this video. And I'll make it easy for you to find this video. It's in the Synergy library, it's other locations, but I will create on the resource page of our Synergy family a separate section for athletic performance and have the video there where you can just right-click the video and copy the link and send it to a person. So it makes it easy for you. Now, the other thing that's important if you're an athlete is that this flyer that Synergy Worldwide created is hugely important for any athlete that is competitive at a level that they get tested for drugs. So the Cologne List, Synergy Worldwide created this flyer because the Cologne List The Cologne List was created by the Olympic Training Center Rhineland. That is the first doping prevention platform created for nutritional supplements. It's one of the largest doping prevention platforms to this day. I even when I redid the new video on the ProArgi-9 Plus Advantage that you all have access to, several distributors over in Europe asked me if I would include information about the Cologne List, because over in Europe, this is hugely important. It's less important here in the United States, but over in Europe, this is hugely important for athletes because they have to make sure that they don't take a product that will cause them problems when they get drug tested. Over here in America, that's important too. If a person is an athlete who is competing at a high enough level where they are considered to be in an international competition, and then they're going to get tested. You never know when you're going to get tested, so you want to make sure that whatever you're taking is what they call clean. Nothing in it that's going to show up in a test, a urine test, that's going to get you banned. Because if any illegal substance shows up, whether it be a professional athlete or an amateur athlete that is competing world class, if you get banned, that ban is typically for a year. And that's not what, certainly people aren't happy about that. So the Cologne List is hugely important, and ProArgi-9 Plus and E9 have both been approved for athletic use on a professional level, which also means from an amateur level that also the product is completely safe for athletes to use. They're not going to get themselves into any problems through a drug test. That's nice to know, because that becomes a hugely important selling factor, if you want to call it, or what I call a unique positioning of our two products, ProArgi-9 Plus and E9, that helps to separate our products from the rest of the competition. Now, going back to today's presentation here, let me go back. So you've got two key resource tools. And again, I'll give you access to the video. I'll give you access to this flyer where it's a direct click and you go right to the video, or it's a direct click and you'll go right to this PDF. Now, here are the key products from the Synergy lineup that I would use for athletic performance. And the first one is always my go-to product, ProArgi-9 Plus. Now, I have some athletes as part of my client base. Most of my clients are like you and I, just average people. We're not average, but you know what I mean by that. Maybe we work out, maybe we don't. Most of my clients are just are typically in their 50s or older. Some of them work out, some of them don't. Every person can stand to improve their cardiovascular system. But if I'm dealing with an athlete, this product is the first product that I would want them to be on, because this product is the best product in the world for creating nitric oxide to improve blood flow. And the way that I would have them take it is I would have them take a packet in 12 ounces of water, and I would have them start consuming that 45 minutes prior to their workout. I would want them to consume at least 6 ounces of that in the first 15 minutes, and then they can hydrate themselves with the rest of what's left over the next 30 minutes. And the reason why I'm starting at 45 minutes is because I want the ingredients into their system so that by the time that they've gone through their warm-up and ready to start their actual either training, where they're, whatever their training program is, whether it's aerobic, whether it's pumping weight, whether it's a combination of two through circuit training, whatever it might be, I want their lactic acid, I want their nitric oxide levels to be increasing so that we can vasodilate their system, be able to improve blood flow, and be able to deliver a large amount of oxygen to their working muscles, which then allows the athlete during their workout to step to a higher intensity. If they're able to work out at a higher intensity with less lactic acid, they're able to then do more work in their workout, which then builds endurance, muscle tissue, and if they're doing multiple sets, they're able to recover faster, which means that in their second and third sets, they're able to work at a higher intensity in their second and third sets, which again helps them to increase muscle mass, increase endurance, and they'll find that they can recover faster in between their sets. And after they're done, they find that they can recover faster with, again, less soreness because they don't have the lactic acid buildup. And again, this aspect here, you just need to understand lactic acid is always the limiting factor in training, performance, and recovery. And anything that I can do to help an athlete eliminate or reduce their lactic acid production is going to make a huge difference in their training, performance, and recovery. And again, I believe that ProArgi-9 Plus is the best product for doing this. I actually wished that the High Desert Heart Institute had done their study on ProArgi-9 Plus as opposed to the ProArgi-9 Plus Active. That's not how they did it, but I think my personal feeling is that they would have gotten even better results if they have just used ProArgi-9 Plus. Now, the other product is E9. Again, we have a video for E9. I will put, we even have a section, if we go back to the section here, where we go back to your resource page, we have a section on here called natural energy marketing strategy. So, these are the older videos and stuff, but they are still just as effective. The only difference that has been made in E9 is just the box. So I've never updated these videos because, the information's all the same. But I'll make sure that I also have, besides in this section, I'll put the information, the videos for E9 in the section for athletic performance on the resource page. But E9 is just a fantastic product because it gives long sustained energy without the crash and burn that you find in most energy supplements. And a lot of athletes will use energy supplements. They'll do the 5 hour and other ones that are out there, Red Bull, and you see if you watch some of the athletic events that are on TV, and especially if they're for the younger generation, you'll see Red Bull and other ones that are like major sponsors for those types of events because those athletes consume them. The people who follow them consume them. And again, here is a better energy product because it's going to give long sustained energy and you don't have the crash and burn that you find with a lot of the other energy supplements that are in the marketplace. Again, mix it in 12 ounces of water. Process is the same as ProArgi-9 Plus. Drink half of it in the first 15 minutes, and then you drink the rest of it over the next 30 minutes. And if you want to, because I do this every morning, I combine an E9 with ProArgi-9 Plus. It's what I call the ultimate energy combination. So I typically in the morning do 1 packet of E9, and then I do 2 packets of the ProArgi-9 in the morning. I just like that combination. It gives me great consistent energy all through the morning, all the way through mid-afternoon. And then typically what I do around 2 to 3 o'clock, I'll mix an E9 with a Biome DTX. And I do that for 2 reasons. I want the Biome DTX to continue to help me reset and maintain my gut health because I am a firm believer that your gut health determines most of your immune system, 70 to 80% of it. So if I've got a healthy gut, I've got a healthy immune system. We live in the COVID-19 era. That doesn't mean that I couldn't contract the virus, But if I've got a healthy immune system, the ability of my body to resist that virus is going to be better. And if I do get sick, then the ability of my body to actually mobilize to help me get through that is most likely going to be better. So I want to do anything that I can to boost my immune system by making sure that my gut health is proper. So I combine the Biome DTX, and then I use the E9 as an afternoon energy boost. And then that takes me into 9, 10 o'clock at night. And, I wouldn't do the E9 at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, because then it would most likely keep me awake. But by doing it around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I get that second lift of energy, takes me through the evening, able to read my book without falling asleep in the chair, all those other things that come with it. Again, it's just a great energy product. And from an athlete looking for energy, this is a great thing that they can throw into their water bottle that they can use while they're working out to hydrate themselves while they're working out. Or if they're a person who does bike riding, they can have that in their water bottle that they carry on their bike, and they can use that to hydrate themselves while they're doing their biking. The next product is the ProArgi-9 Plus Active. Personally, I have never used this product, so I can't speak to how well it works. I've heard some other people have used this product. They speak very well about this product. They feel the product has been beneficial to them, and it's been beneficial to them to keep the muscle soreness down. So Synergy specifically designed this to enhance physical activity by, again, combining L-arginine with the energy-producing properties of quercetin. So quercetin is not in ProArgi-9 Plus, but it is in the ProArgi-9 Plus Active. It also has the vitamins B6 and B12. Those are in your E9. It has folic acid and D-ribose. Now, folic acid and D-ribose are both in ProArgi-9 Plus. I can't remember if the B6 or B12 is in it. If we need to look at that, I can go get a box off my shelf, but I won't do that right now. And again, they recommend that you take it 30 minutes before any type of exercise. As far as their bullet points in terms of benefits, we all are familiar with L-arginine and how it increases nitric oxide production, which helps to expand the arteries and enhance blood flow to vital organs. Quercetin is a powerful antioxidant, which protects the body from free radicals that can damage cell membranes during exercise. So that's a key for athletes. There's a lot of athletes that work at high intensity exercise. Well, they are also creating free radicals when they do that. And free radicals always cause some level of cellular damage in the body. Quercetin, as a powerful antioxidant, helps to reduce the potential of those free radicals causing cellular damage. So it's a great ingredient to have in the ProArgi-9 Active. And then there's vitamin B6, which supports the nervous system and helps to create new blood cells. And again, if I can help to create new blood cells, the more blood cells, red blood cells that I have, the more potential that I have to carry oxygen by the hemoglobin of the red blood cell. And again, going back to what we talked about, if I'm exercising and I'm exercising at a higher aerobic capacity, I'm creating carbon dioxide, which comes back to the lungs, changes pH in the lungs, allows my lungs to bind more oxygen to the hemoglobin. And if I've got more red blood cells, then that means that I can then bind more oxygen to more red blood cells, because I can then deliver more oxygen to the working tissue. Again, it helps to aid in athletic performance. Folic acid is essential to DNA synthesis, DNA repair, and the production of healthy blood cells. Vitamin B6 is necessary for the reaction that releases glucose from glycogen to produce energy, which from an athlete standpoint is hugely important, because glycogen is typically, once they've gone through their glucose, then they're going to go for their glycogen stores to get their energy. And then once their glycogen stores are done, then they've got to go to free fatty acids, which is a whole nother conversation. And then you've got D-ribose, a naturally occurring sugar used by the body to generate energy during exercise. D-ribose is hugely important for heart health. Again, it's a great ingredient to have, and I'm glad that the ProArgi-9 Plus has the D-ribose in it. So that would be the ProArgi-9 Plus Active that an athlete might want to utilize. And then athletes are always looking to maintain or build muscle tissue. And so they're looking for a complete protein that would be able to do that. A lot of them use what's called whey protein sources because they think that the whey protein is going to give them a better amino acid profile to be able to build their muscle tissue. We'll look at the difference between the two in just a second. But Biome Shake is certified vegan and gluten-free and uses a pea protein. And in my opinion, pea protein is way better than whey protein. Pea protein is the most common, the most common protein powder is whey protein. It's by far the greatest one that's used, and it comes from cow's milk. So pea protein is equal to whey, but provides for what I call cleaner energy metabolism while supporting a greater diversity in the gut microbiome. It's dairy-free, so you can use this for a person who's a vegan. And the nice thing about the Biome Shake is it actually says on the label, not only is it certified vegan, but gluten-free. You'll see that right on the label. But here's the comparison between a direct comparison between pea protein and whey protein. Now, in the Biome Shake, there's not 25 grams. I'm just doing a direct comparison on 25 grams. What you get in the Biome Shake, if you're doing 2 scoops, is you get 20 grams of pea protein. So when you're looking at the comparison of 25 grams of pea protein to 25 grams of whey protein, you can see that from a caloric intake, they're almost the same. From a carb intake, they're almost the same. From a protein intake, the amount of protein is the same. And from a fat standpoint, they're almost the same. But here's why it's important to take pea protein as opposed to whey protein. Pea protein contains 3 times more L-arginine than whey protein. So if I was taking 25 grams of pea protein, of that, just slightly over 1.5 grams would be L-arginine. And if I was taking 25 grams of whey protein, then not quite a half a gram of L-arginine. And we all know the benefits of L-arginine and what it can do to help improve circulation by the creation of nitric oxide. Plus, L-arginine goes down and fuels 7 different metabolic pathways. Of those 7 metabolic pathways, nitric oxide is just one of them. So L-arginine is hugely important as an amino acid for the functioning of your body. That's why when you see information, he's not as bad about doing this as before, but Dr. Nathan Bryant and Neo 40 used to bash the use of L-arginine for anyone that was over the age of 40, which was disingenuous at best because every person, no matter your age, needs L-arginine as an amino acid because it's used by your body to fuel 7 different metabolic pathways. Nitric oxide is just one of those pathways. So L-arginine is one of the most important amino acids that you can take in, and especially for an athlete who's looking to build muscle tissue. So those are the 4 products that I would recommend that you would want to use from an athletic performance standpoint that Synergy Worldwide has created. There's certainly other products that Synergy has that are great products, but specifically for athletic performance, these are the products that I would go and recommend to people. And typically, you're looking at the Biome Shake as a replacement because a lot of athletes use a protein shake So this would be for them a replacement. If you could show them the benefits of the Biome Shake versus their whey protein, they might switch. A lot of them are doing energy drinks. So if you could show them the benefits of the E9, you'd most likely show them that they could get a better energy drink and more cost effective than what they're currently doing. And if they really wanted to step up their exercise program and be able to work at a higher intensity so that they could get a better workout and recover faster, so that when they go to their performance, whether it be a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, or a marathon, and be able to see significant improvements in their performance, or whether they're playing soccer and they want to be able to perform at a higher level, or they're doing wrestling, or whatever the thing might be. And when I say wrestling, I'm not talking professional wrestling, which is staged. I'm talking about, athletes that wrestle in college and high school, and they come to the third period. And if you're able to continue to generate more power at a higher intensity, you're typically going to win your match in the third period, especially if you're equal to your opponent in the first two periods. It makes a huge difference. And so I would highly recommend that they would use ProArgi-9 Plus. It will make a huge difference in their workouts and their athletic performance.
Find it.
So with that said, do I have any questions from anyone with regards to the information I've shared with you this morning? You'll have to unmute yourself if you...
In a couple of minutes, I'll go with you.
Judy, do you have any questions?
Just that, you gave me such great ideas. I've been speaking with the director of physiology for a national soccer team.
Okay.
And just some of the things that you said today just has resonated to remind me to bring up to him as we have our conversations about athletic performance for his team. He's having some challenges right now getting them to continue their workouts on a daily basis because they're not getting together. They have to work out at home via Zoom.
Sure.
So, maybe I can help a little bit more with some of the things that you've talked about today.
Yeah, and if you want to connect me with them, I mean, I played soccer for Northern. I coached for Northern Illinois University, and I'll tell you from a soccer standpoint, if you can, especially in the last 20 minutes of the game, be able to perform at the level that you were able to perform at the start of the game, you'll most likely dominate almost all the teams that you play, because you'll be able to move off the ball. You'll be able to complete the stuff that you want to do from ball movement standpoint, be able to finish, be able to get off the spot faster than your opponent because they're fatigued and you're not. Yeah, there's a lot that could be done from a soccer standpoint to truly improve performance on the field. It doesn't replace skill, but again, sometimes, in the last 20 minutes, it's not so much the skill, it's the endurance that you've got to be able to overcome your opponent and put that ball in the goal.
Right.
So I'd be more than happy to, if you want to connect me with them, I'd be more than happy to talk to them.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else with any questions or comments before we say goodbye?
I had a question, Dan. Do you know if the Synergy resource page has any information for the athletic performance marketing, where we could either download some material or share some material? Is that part of our Send Your Family website?
Yeah, it's on our Synergy Family website. I'll make sure that there's links to it. Synergy created this flyer for the Cologne List, so that's there for you. You've got a flyer for the Biome, for the ProArgi-9 Plus Active is there. I looked for their infographics, and they really don't have one with regards to athletic performance. So again, by Tuesday, I'll have a section on the resource page for athletic performance, and I'll make sure that I link it to things that I've created and link it to the things that Synergy has created.
Yeah, I've got a 14-year-old that got intrigued with a friend of mine who has a Facebook page on boxing. He's a boxing
Sure.
coach.
Yeah.
And this will be great because I will be talking to the gentleman later today. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know, David, we have a video. It's pretty old, but we have a video of a person who owned a boxing gym. She was a Chicago Golden Belt winner, and I've got her a video, and it for boxing, it's going to make a huge difference,
Is that
especially.
something on the Global Health Makeover or somewhere where I could find it, Dan? Or is it,
Yeah,
is it
David,
also
you can
on
go
our
into
Synergy
the, you can
Family?
go into, yeah, you can go into the, I'm pretty sure it's there. Let me, here. So if you go into our Synergy Family and you click on the Synergy Library, oh, I know where it's at. So if you go into the Synergy Family and click on testimonials,
Okay.
and I've got several testimonials. Jessica Storch, Athletic Performance. You know, I don't know if Jessica still has her gym. It was called Knockout Gym. But, you know, I've got Pat Wheely, Athletic Performance, Jessica Storch, Jason Shelley, Athletic Performance. So, yeah, those videos are right there. You know, watch the one from Jessica Storch. And, again, she was a boxer. Again, I haven't talked to Jessica for most likely about 6 years, so I don't know if she's still in the boxing business or not, but she was a Chicago Golden Belt winner, and she'll tell you in her testimonial what a huge difference it made in her performance and her endurance.
Great, Dan. I appreciate that. I certainly will look at that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that resource. I'll share it.
Especially once you get to the third round and beyond. Makes a big difference.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else with any questions or comments before we say goodbye? All right, I want to thank you for your time today. We'll be back next Saturday, same time, same station. Have a blessed weekend, everyone.